Einstein's driver used to accompany him in all his talks in various forums. He was so used to hearing him speak that one day he commented and told Einstein that I could now deliver a talk as good as yours. So, bemused, Einstein said, okay, in the next talk, let's switch places. Sure enough, when he was invited to address a gathering, the driver took his place behind the podium, and Einstein donned the driver's uniform and sat at the back of the audience. As you guess, the talk went smooth and it went beautifully. And towards the end, a member of the audience asked a technical question. The driver thought for a minute, the speaker thought for a minute, and he said, well, this question is so simple that my driver sitting right in the back will be able to answer that question. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to lead you through a path which will guide you to live a life you always dreamt of, even in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 80s. Well, a couple of years back, a 35-year-old woman thought she had achieved everything. She was busy in her professional work. She had respect in the community. She had money. She thought she had enough fame. But yet, she was not happy. She thought there was something missing. And so she decided, because she was so into looking after her family, her profession, she decided to do something for herself. So she just started with losing weight. She said, okay, let me lose weight. I'm doing it for myself. One thing led to another. She got into this world of preventive healthcare, curative healthcare, and then she achieved that she was lacking, happiness. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you, in slight provocation, get stressed? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you, in moderate provocation, get angry and stressed? Few. Okay. And how many of you get angry and stressed only when there's extreme provocation? You know what? I realized the first question where the slight provocation, I saw most of the hands up. So I'm going to show you a part. Now, would you like to discover and go along this journey with me, where I'm going to at least help you face challenges in life, so that many years, or even say 2-3 years, couple of years from now, when you're faced with a situation, you'll know how to react? Okay. I was just keeping my fingers crossed because it's post-lunch. I thought most of you will be sleeping, but let's do this together. Okay. So what would be my takeaways? How would I like to touch your lives today? This would help you overcome self-esteem, overcome anger, not to crumble under stress, be a role model in society, always be beautiful inside out. I'm sure you can just run through the slide. And as a woman, how is this going to help you? There are a lot of conditions, medical conditions, which are related to women, like polycystic ovarian syndrome. Have you all heard of this condition, PCOS? You have? Okay. It is preventable, and at early stage it is curable. Depression, obesity, low esteem, hormonal problems. So let's embark this journey following 5 dimensions of wellness. So the first one I would take you is physical wellness. The reason why I stress on being physically well is, one, to prevent yourself from getting lifestyle diseases. How many of you have heard of lifestyle diseases? You could just raise your hands. Not many. Okay, lifestyle diseases are those non-communicable diseases which you acquire if you're not leading a good lifestyle. This could be anything like type 2 diabetes, it could be hypertension, it could be coronary artery disease, it could be hypertension, Alzheimer's. There's a lot of disease which today is very, very preventable if you just take good steps right from the age of 20. So what are the basic things you have to check maybe once a week? What I'd like you to do is, the height is a constant. You're not going to grow taller now, but weight, calculate your BMI, your body fat percent and waist hip ratio. These are the basic health parameters one has to keep in mind. So your body mass index is calculated in this formula. Make sure that you're always between 20 to 25. It's good to be pear-shaped, as you see in the slide, because again, if you're apple-shaped, there is an increased chance of getting the lifestyle diseases. So your body, we call it the waist-hip ratio, should be 0.7. Are you clear? How do you calculate this? Great. Okay, so these are some basic tips for exercise. I'm sure if you all go through this slide, I'm not going to read it, but I'm sure at least a lot of you are exercising at least 3 to 4 times a week. That's a must. You must exercise, even if you're going to tell me you don't have the time or you don't have no, I'm already thin, I don't need to exercise. It is very important to exercise about 4 days a week. Exercise should be done in moderation. Okay, another very interesting thing I've heard people when they come to me, they say that, doctor, we exercise really, really hard. We exercise so much, but we are not able to lose weight. We follow a fancy diet and we do this. On the contrary, when they over-exercise, what happens is it's one, not losing weight or whatever the goal they set out to be. Also, the age starts showing on your face faster. So it's good to do everything in moderation. Exercise 4 to 5 times a week. If you're a starter, a beginner, 20 minutes to 40 minutes to 1 hour, but don't overdo it. Include a lot of cardio activities as it's in the slide. Do a lot of strength training, do resistance training, and always give importance to this. You know, today I'm sure most of you might be thinking, oh God, what she's saying. But trust me, in case you start adapting to regular exercise when you're in your 20s, even when you're in your 60s and 70s and 80s, I can assure you that you're not going to be wheelchair bound. Would you like that? I see whenever we travel abroad, and especially when I go to Europe, I'm so impressed by older people there. They're so awesome, they're so fit, they're so independent, and unless they've got a medical issue, most of them are not in wheelchairs. But I can't say that about our country, because after 60, everyone feels old. Everyone feels it's right to be limping, it's right to get into a wheelchair after you're 75. But as a young audience sitting here, this has to change. Unless you start getting into physical activity and workout right now, I can assure you, even when you're in your 70s or 80s, you will not need a stick, you will not need a wheelchair, and definitely you will not be depending on anyone, whether your spouse or your children. So this aspect is very important, physical exercise in moderation. When it comes to diet, water is a very, very important fat burner. Water burns fat. I have always studied that 2 liters of water is what one has to drink. You can do anything at your comfort level, but please make a minimum of 2-liter water intake. Water in its pure form is very good, but even if you want to have coconut water or you want to have any kind of beverage, make sure your fluid intake in water is not less than 2 liters. It's a great fat burner. Of course, these are some tips. If you adapt, it would prevent the non-communicable diseases. Again, why, why does this help? Have anyone realized or experienced having a very, very heavy oily diet just before sleeping and thereafter not able to sleep well? Have you experienced it? It's terrible. I mean, you have a rich, oily diet, especially a Saturday night dinner, and then you come out and next Sunday you're down with tummy pain and you're feeling nauseous and so it's okay if you have to try to do those things for lunch or maybe an early dinner, but it's always good to finish your dinner well in time, keep your dinner light, and go eat out maybe twice a month. You can now get very good food made at home also, trust me.